There's a bit of concern in the border areas, particularly along the Murray, about trying to coordinate the restrictions on both sides, so both sides are working together. Have you been able to talk to the Premier of New South Wales to help the Victorian accommodation?
So what I've done is I've had communications with Gladys and with Stephen to make sure that they're fully briefed and fully aware on the steps that we've taken and the precautions we're putting in place as part of the regional Victorian opening up. In the first instance, that's to make sure that some of the concessions, some of the enhanced arrangements we've had in recent weeks are not put at risk. Beyond that, we will continue to talk with them about, well, trying to be as consistent as possible, trying to facilitate as much movement as is safe. But the first order issue, Nick, was to make sure that in opening up regional Victoria, we didn't get a situation where New South Wales suddenly said, well, those ag workers that we've got moving, some of the permits we've got, all of a sudden we're not comfortable with that. So we're very, very deeply engaged with them. And have
you got the clearance from New South Wales on that?
I'll leave them to make announcements, but I think it's fair to say, in my discussions with Gladys, they're comfortable with the arrangements that we've put in place. But again, I'll leave it for them to make any announcements, whether they need to or not. With South Australia, again, I'd be confident as well. But my offer really to Stephen last night was, look, we'll give you all the information you need and more so that you can have a really clear picture of what's going on in those border towns, and you can have a really clear picture of what the virus is doing in very soon to be opened up regional Vic, so that doesn't impact and doesn't see them have to revisit any of the concessions, for want of a better term, that they've made around movement and that bubble, if you like, that they've got. That was important. The next job of work, obviously, is to get those borders open, and the best thing to achieve that outcome is that we stay the course, get the numbers down across the state to very low levels, and then we'll be able to have that freedom of movement within Victoria and obviously into other states.
Premier, why the cap just 20 indoors for some of those country pubs are very big places, multiple rooms, could have 10, 10 and 10. Why cap 20? Because
it's not just about where people are sitting, it's also about using bathroom facilities, things of that nature. And it is a tough judgment to make, and I fully acknowledge there'll be plenty of publicans and plenty of restaurateurs who would love to have more inside than that. That is as much as we can give them at this point. It's more than what was foreshadowed, but we think it is safe. So 10 per space, maximum of 2 spaces. Again, I'm not announcing this today, but if we get 3 weeks down the track and we think this is working well, then we obviously reserve the right to maybe add to this. To tweak it in different ways, to maybe grow the number of groups or the number of people outside. All those things are on the table, and that's that key point about modelling versus data. The actuals, what happens each and every day, not in a theoretical sense, but in a very real sense, that has informed the decisions we announced today, and it'll inform any other decisions that we can make. Just on that point, I know there'll be some concern for people of faith across Victoria. This has been a really challenging year. Not being able to come together to worship together, that's a really important part of those people's lives. We've got an expansion here, 10 outdoors plus the priest, the rabbi, the minister. We'll look at that over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and based on the broader picture in regional Victoria, it is possible that we could have larger outdoor services, but we just need a little bit more time just to see what the impact of all this easing is. I know that'll be of concern to many people. It's certainly an issue that's been raised.